Imagine you're spending quality time with your family, laughing and chatting as usual. Suddenly, someone starts speaking unclearly, one side of their face droops, and they struggle to move their arm. In a matter of seconds, everything changes. This is the critical moment experienced by thousands of people worldwide every day. The early signs of a stroke that often come without warning. Inspirational story Markus Schmidt. Let's listen to the inspiring story of Markus Schmidt, a 45-year-old German executive who had it all: a successful career, a happy family, and an active lifestyle. However, one morning, his life took a drastic turn. As he was getting ready for work, Markus suddenly felt a severe headache. He tried to speak to his wife, but all that came out was unclear speech. When he attempted to grab a glass of water, his hand couldn't move properly. Within seconds, he collapsed to the floor. His wife quickly called emergency services, and within less than 30 minutes, Markus was already in the hospital. Doctors promptly diagnosed him with ischemic stroke, the most common type of stroke caused by a blockage in the brain's blood vessels. Fortunately, Markus received prompt treatment, which enabled him to survive a life-threatening condition. However, his journey was far from over. He had to undergo intensive rehabilitation for months to regain his ability to walk and speak normally. Early signs of stroke. Stroke often strikes suddenly, but if we recognize the signs earlier, the chances of survival and recovery are much higher. Here are some early signs to watch out for. Cortifacial weakness. If someone's face droops or they struggle to smile, it could be a sign of a stroke. 2. Speech difficulty. If someone suddenly has trouble speaking or their speech is unclear, it's a serious warning sign. First, arm or leg weakness. Stroke often affects one side of the body, causing weakness or numbness in the arm or leg. 4. Vision changes. Sudden blurred vision or loss of vision in one or both eyes. First, severe headache. A sudden severe headache without a clear reason. 6. Difficulty walking. Stroke can cause coordination problems, making it hard to walk or causing dizziness. The importance of prompt treatment. Time is crucial when dealing with a stroke. The golden hour refers to the first hour after symptoms appear. If someone receives medical attention within this time frame, their chances of recovery are significantly higher. A simple way to remember the signs of a stroke is by using the FAST method. First, does their face droop on one side? Arms, can they lift both arms normally? Asking speech, is their speech clear? T time. If you observe any of these symptoms, call emergency services immediately. The road to recovery. After experiencing a stroke, the journey to recovery is a long process that requires strong determination. Like Markus, many stroke survivors have to undergo physical rehabilitation and speech therapy for months. However, with persistence and family support, recovery is not impossible. Some crucial steps in stroke recovery include: 1. Physical rehabilitation. Physical therapy is vital for regaining muscle function and body coordination. 2. Speech therapy. Stroke can affect speech, so therapy is necessary to help patients regain clear communication. First, healthy lifestyle. Adopting a healthy diet low in saturated fats and high in fiber, avoiding smoking and alcohol. Engaging in regular physical activity. First, stress and blood pressure management. High blood pressure is a primary cause of stroke. Therefore, managing stress and monitoring blood pressure regularly is crucial. Motivation. Markus Schmidt's story is a reminder that life can change in an instant. However, with awareness, prompt action, and strong determination, one can rise again from the ashes of a stroke. Markus is now an active health advocate, speaking at seminars to raise awareness about stroke. He not only successfully recovered, but also transformed his bitter experience into inspiration for many. If you or someone you love is experiencing stroke symptoms, don't hesitate to seek immediate medical help. Time is life. And for stroke survivors, remember that every small step in rehabilitation is progress toward a better life. Don't give up. Stroke is not the end, but the beginning of a new fight toward a healthier, more meaningful life. Life after stroke. After experiencing a stroke, many people feel as though their lives have come to an end. However, the reality is that a stroke is not the end, but rather a turning point. Changes in lifestyle, intensive therapy, and support from family and the environment are the primary factors that help stroke survivors regain their quality of life. In Markus Schmidt's case, the first few months after his stroke were the most challenging. He had to relearn how to move his body, speak fluently, and even perform simple tasks like buttoning his shirt or holding a spoon. Initially, frustration and despair overwhelmed his mind. However, Markus realized that the key to his recovery lay in his own mindset. He chose not to give up and began following a rehabilitation program with high discipline, steps toward recovery. A commitment to rehabilitation. One of the most critical aspects of stroke recovery is attending physical and occupational therapy regularly. This includes exercises to improve balance, coordination, and muscle strength. First, to mental and emotional therapy. Many stroke survivors experience depression and anxiety due to the significant changes in their lives. Markus decided to see a psychologist who helped him accept his condition and find new motivation. 3. Nutrition and healthy eating. Food plays a significant role in stroke recovery. Reducing salt, saturated fat, and sugar intake is essential. Markus started consuming more vegetables, fruits, healthy proteins, and healthy oils like olive oil. 4. Light exercise and physiotherapy. Although it was challenging initially, Markus started practicing walking with the aid of a device. Every day, he increased the number of steps he took until he could walk without assistance. 5. Maintaining blood pressure and heart health. Stroke is often triggered by high blood pressure and heart problems. Therefore, regularly checking blood pressure and avoiding stress became a top priority in his recovery journey. Returning to normal life. After a year of struggle, Markus started feeling significant changes. He could speak fluently again and move his body better. With family support and consistent therapy, he even managed to return to work, albeit at a slower pace. However, what mattered most was not only his physical recovery, but also his mental well-being. Markus realized that life was no longer just about chasing material success, but also about appreciating small moments and maintaining health. Today, he actively speaks in stroke survivor communities, sharing his story and motivating those who are struggling. Lessons from Markus's journey. Markus Schmidt's story teaches us several important lessons. 1. Awareness of stroke signs can save lives. If symptoms appear, seek medical help immediately. 2. Recovery takes time and patience. Don't give up if results aren't immediate. 3. Family and friend support are crucial. Love and care can be a powerful source of motivation. 4. A healthy lifestyle is the best investment for the future. Prevention is better than cure. Call to action. Every person is at risk of experiencing a stroke, especially if they have an unhealthy lifestyle. Therefore, we must all start taking care of our health by 1. Consuming nutritious food and maintaining a balanced diet. 2. Exercising regularly to maintain physical fitness. 3. Avoiding smoking and alcohol that can worsen blood vessel conditions. 4. Managing stress effectively through meditation, hobbies, or other positive activities. 5. Undergoing regular health checkups, especially if you have a history of high blood pressure or heart disease. Hope and motivation. Life after a stroke may never be the same again, but that doesn't mean life has to stop. With strong willpower, support from loved ones, and discipline in maintaining health, one can rise again and even lead a more meaningful life. For those who have experienced a stroke or have a loved one struggling, remember one thing: hope always exists. Every day is a new opportunity to become stronger. Never give up, because life is still waiting to be fully enjoyed. Changing life after stroke. For many stroke survivors, life after the incident is not just about physical recovery, but also about finding meaning in life again. Some people feel lost due to the limitations they experience after a stroke. However, as Markus Schmidt's story shows, a stroke is not the end of everything. In fact, for some people, a stroke can be a wake-up call to live a more meaningful life. Markus, who used to be busy with work and rarely paid attention to his health, has now changed his perspective on life. He started spending more time with his family, practicing meditation, and even writing a book about his struggle against stroke. Markus also joined a stroke survivor community in Germany, helping those who had recently experienced a similar condition to find new hope. Changing mindset and emotional patterns. A stroke is not just about physical impact, but also psychological impact. Many stroke survivors experience depression, anxiety, or loss of self-confidence. Therefore, changing one's mindset is crucial. Start accepting the situation. The first step towards true recovery is accepting that life has changed. This doesn't mean giving up, but rather accepting that there are new challenges to be faced head-on. Finding new purpose. For Markus, losing some of his physical abilities initially made him feel useless. However, after he started sharing his story, he realized that there were many people he could help. Finding a new purpose, whether it's speaking in communities, writing, or simply being an inspiration to others, helps many survivors feel meaningful again. Facing fears with courage. Fear of recurrence, fear of not being independent again, or fear of becoming a burden are common feelings. However, having the courage to keep trying, even if it means taking small steps every day, is the key to recovery. Family and environmental support. A stroke survivor's recovery doesn't just depend on their own efforts, but also on support from family and the environment. Markus's wife, for example, played a significant role in his recovery. She ensured Markus stayed motivated, monitored his diet, and even accompanied him to therapy sessions. Here are some ways families can help stroke survivors. 1. Being a good listener. Sometimes, stroke survivors just need someone to listen to their complaints without judgment. Assisting with daily activities, but not overdoing it. Allow stroke survivors to remain independent as much as possible. Don't overprotect them, as this can make them feel powerless. 3. Providing motivation and emotional support. Positive words and motivation greatly help in boosting stroke survivors' morale. Hope for the future. Markus is now almost fully recovered. He may not be able to go back to his old life entirely, but he feels happier and healthier than before. He teaches us that a stroke is not the end of everything. In fact, it can be the beginning of a more meaningful and healthier life. If you or someone you love has experienced a stroke, remember, every day is a new opportunity to rise again. Every small step is progress. Don't give up, because life still has many beautiful things to offer. Take care of your health, recognize the signs, and help those around us become more aware of the dangers of stroke. With the right actions and strong support, life after a stroke can still be bright and full of hope.